Hey, what's up, guys? This is Sky Mayring. We are live from Arival. This is tnoozLIVE live at Arival. Very live, super live. So live right now.
All the way live.
We are presented by Rezdy, and I'm joined by Ashley Steyaert. She's with One Ocean Diving. She's a conservationist. Welcome to our incredible live show.
Thank you so much. Couldn't be more happy to be here, Sky.
Yeah, tell us about One Ocean Diving. Some people back home might not be familiar with your product.
Awesome. So One Ocean Diving operates out of the north shore of Haleiwa on the island of Oahu in Hawaii.
Shaka, bro.
Shaka, throw it up. And we offer pelagic interactive tours, which is a real fancy way of saying shark tours. But unlike shark tours that are available in many other areas where cages and chumming and other things are involved, this is just a very authentic interactive tour where people get in the water with sharks. No cage, no special suits, no trickery of any kind, just regular people like me and you getting into the water with any number of sharks. I mean, some days there are a few, but I've been in the water with probably upwards of 30 sharks at one time, and it is a unique, inspiring, and in my experience, life-changing opportunity.
It sounds fascinating. Also, it sounds dangerous. Well, this is a live show. There has to be some sort of inherent danger. I mean, you're in the water with what we know as man-eating sharks. Like, how do you get people in the water? Do they have to sign a waiver? Do you have to convince them that it's safe? Like, is it safe?
Yes, it's safe. We have taken thousands of people out on these excursions, and we have to date a zero incident report. So
when you say incident, do you mean like no biting, no?
None of that.
None of
Never,
that.
ever. And to answer your question, yes, it is safe. And I appreciate that you use the words what we know as man-eating sharks, because that's certainly the notion that I grew up with. And
we've all seen Jaws.
Of course, it's a huge thing. And most people believe that sharks are mindless man-eating machines out to get us wherever we are. However, if you look at the statistics and at the scientific data available, it turns out that less than one person a year is killed by a shark in this country. Less than one.
Which is wild because
not even one.
So many people are afraid of getting in the water to surf, to do anything.
Yes.
And you're actually more likely to get in a car accident than you are.
By a bajillion. Yeah. I mean, selfies kill more people than sharks, guys. That is legit.
Selfies.
Selfies. Vending machines. So many, and don't even get me started on mosquitoes. And sharks are the least of our problems. And the fact of the matter is that sharks have a lot more to fear from human beings as a species than we do.
You're right.
From sharks.
Absolutely. So tell me how you got involved in the travel industry, because you weren't always in travel, right?
No, not at all. I arrived to the island of Oahu as a yoga instructor working for Core Power Yoga, and I still do teach for them.
I've gone there before.
Love it.
Yeah,
Love
great
it.
classes.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad you enjoy it. So I did not actually know that Ocean Ramsey, one of the co-founders of One Ocean Diving, was raised and lives currently on that island. But I had been following her for years. An image of her and a shark had
When you say following her, what do you
mean?
On
Instagram.
Yeah.
Yes. So I had been following her journey for several years, and it was actually an image of her and a great white shark that inspired me to get out of my desk job life in San Francisco, and ultimately led me to living a life of passion, yoga, and brought me to Hawaii in the first place. So I had the opportunity to meet her at a charity event early on in my time in Hawaii, and I basically fangirled her really hard in a bathroom of a bar. And I was like, I know you don't know me, I don't mean to be weird, but I love what you're doing. I don't know what you need or if you could ever use me in any way, but I want to support you in any way I can. And I guess that turned into this. Here I am.
I love that story, that you straight up bombarded her in a bathroom and were like, hey girl, bring me on.
Yeah, I did.
Whatever it takes.
And the first thing she did, of course, was invite me out on the One Ocean Diving boat. And I was like,
and you were hooked, literally.
I mean, I was terrified, Sky.
Yeah.
Sharks up until that point were my greatest fear in
Wow.
life on Earth. Sharks were horrifying to me. It gave me a real sense of anxiety. Anytime I was, and I mean like rivers. I mean like places where sharks would not even
exist.
be.
Yeah.
Would really freak me out. If I couldn't see around me, I would just be overcome. by anxiety.
So I'm glad you mentioned Instagram because I'm following One Ocean, and actually One Ocean has a number of different Instagrams, and they just blow it up. I mean,
We do.
What do you guys have on your main Instagram count in terms of followers?
Last I checked, it was over 141,000 for One Ocean Diving.
And how quickly did you guys get to that point?
Pretty fast. I mean, I think we've only been operational for just over 3 years or so. So yeah, it all happened pretty quickly. And that, as you mentioned, is just one of maybe a dozen handles that we, as a team, support.
Could you break that down? Why would you have all these different handles? I've always been told like you need to consolidate, you need to have everything all in one place so that you're constantly posting. Is that incorrect? Is that not the way to go about getting followers?
I would not presume to be a social media expert, but what I can say is that One Ocean has a gigantic following that is composed of several different smaller followings. I feel like we've taken a carpet bombing approach where we just want to get as much information and awareness out there as we possibly can. And it started with our two co-founders who both have gigantic followings, Ocean Ramsey and Juan Sharks.
What's Ocean's following approximately?
I don't
like 300K, I think?
At least.
I think it's around there.
Yeah, it's big. It's really big. And Juan's is right up there as well. The two of them started it, created One Ocean Diving, and One Ocean Diving is research diving and conservation. So we have a handle for our research team, our conservation team, which I manage. We also have One Ocean Education. And it's because our organization is so multifaceted that it makes sense for us to diversify our handles, because people who follow One Ocean Education are super interested in things that pertain to our educational programs for children. Whereas people who follow our One Ocean Research handle have a greater interest in the scientific data backing what it is that we do. So, and oftentimes we all bring it in and we, repost and share other things, and we do our best to support each other across platforms. But I think that it makes sense, and it has obviously served One Ocean very well to take this unique approach.
What kind of posts do the best, perform the best, get the most interactions, comments, and whatnot, and why do you think that is?
I think that the greatest response that we get to posts are those that involve human interaction with sharks. And I think that's because it just boggles people's minds. It shows them in no uncertain way that the impossible is possible, and that there is something going on out in the world that contradicts everything that most of us were raised to believe. That'll get people talking.
It will. How often are you guys posting on the main Instagram handle?
4 times a day, I believe.
To me, that sounds really excessive.
I mean, when you're trying to save the planet, you do
it's just
everything
not enough.
you can. Yeah.
What about your other social media handles? Where else are you guys focusing your efforts?
One Ocean Conservation, we focus mostly on, the reducing single-use plastics and beach and reef cleanups and sunscreen and stuff like that. Again, we have the research handle. They share a lot of really interesting stuff, not only about shark anatomy and ecological sustainability, but also cool stuff in the field of research, some tagging and stuff like that. Is that along the lines of?
Yeah. And I was also wondering, I know you guys are so hardcore on Instagram. Is that the only place that you are sharing your media?
Mostly, yeah.
Why are you guys so focused on Instagram?
Because it's what's working for us. And it's proven to be a powerful enough tool that I think it makes sense to continue to invest the brunt of our energy and our time into what is well established and serving a very wide community.
Where else can I find you guys other than on Instagram? Surely you have a presence like elsewhere, like maybe YouTube. I can imagine you guys have some cool videos. Or are you on Vimeo?
I honestly cannot say for sure. I'd have to double check.
Your website has a lot of videos, though.
Yes.
Which is cool.
Yes.
And actually, I saw Ocean did a TED Talk.
She did.
Which is pretty fascinating. So you guys should check that out and go to their website.
Yeah.
So what advice do you have for younger brands? You guys were, fairly young, but you just accelerated so quickly in your social media. What advice do you have for people who say maybe they only have 1,000 followers on Instagram? Like, give them some hope that it can be done.
It can be done, and I think that a few tips. I mean, one advantage that Ocean and Juan, our co-founders, had is that they're both really great photographers. I mean, Juan Sharks takes almost all of the photos that you see through any of our handles. So it does not help to have, it does not hurt to have a professional photographer on your team that can help you capture really amazing images in just what you're doing every day, so that you don't have to pay someone to set up a photo shoot on specific day. And like, you know, it can be a big orchestration, but if you have someone on your team who's passionate and talented in photography that's already out there with you, you're set with a continuous stream of fresh, exciting, beautiful media. And I think that is in large part why Instagram is so successful for One Ocean Diving specifically, is because we've got the content.
Right.
So that being said, also post as often as you can, especially on Instagram, because the more you post, the more followers, and obviously the more exposure. Also, hashtag the bejesus out of every single post that you can. Tag everything that is being featured or that you're talking about. Be sure to make as many connections with every post as you can to draw followers.
I mean, it's great that you guys had a couple of photographers already on staff. I know there's a lot of smaller tour operators that don't have that luxury. So what would you recommend for them?
I would recommend that you find someone in your community who loves what you do, who loves to go on the tours, and ask to trade them photos.
Great idea.
For free tours. And then you've got yourself an ambassador, which is essentially what I am. I'm not on One Ocean's payroll. I don't technically work for them. But I love what they do, and I believe in the cause, and I really love being on the water with sharks. So I get to go and be in the water with sharks whenever I can, and that's enough for me. And here I am in Las Vegas about to speak to hundreds of people tomorrow. And like, if you find someone who cares enough about what you're doing, you can tap into whatever gifts or talents or whatever it is that they have and be like, hey, will you help us? Will you help us do this thing? And then you can come and do the thing more with us, and you'll find something fast.
I noticed that part of One Ocean's social media strategy is that you will repost guest posts on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
So, and how do you decide like which ones are worthy, and then do you use a specific kind of software, or should I say app, to do the reposting?
Yes, we use the Repost app. I can't speak for everybody on the team, but that is certainly what I use and what I see a lot of people on our team using. Obviously, we want it to be a powerful, beautiful, clear image. But I think that the most important thing that we take into consideration when deciding what to repost and what to share is the message behind the image. If somebody makes a post about their experience with sharks and all they have to say is,
cool.
I'm such a badass, like, whatever, if it's more from the egotistical, we want it to be a positive message about sharks. We want people to share their experience in the hopes that that shared experience will create a greater sense of awareness. A, that sharks are not those mindless man-eaters that we all thought that they were, and B, that sharks have a plight right now and that they really need our help, and they are being killed at an unsustainable rate, and populations worldwide are at a 90% decrease, and that we need to start doing something about it if we're going to save them, the ocean, the earth, no big deal, just life on Earth.
You know, just our survival.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned captions, because captions are really critical in getting anyone engaging with your post. So can you give us some tips for what makes a good caption, and how do you get people to respond?
I think information, right? Sharing something that maybe somebody hasn't known that will catch their attention, blow somebody's mind, and then follow it up with a question. Invite people to interact with you, whatever it may be.
That's great. That's great practice. Well, I think we're just about wrapping it up right now. Thank you so much for joining me. Oh, and let's just notice this. The conservationist, she brings her own water bottle here on set.
Yeah, big fan of this. So single-use plastics are a huge, huge problem in our ocean's ecosystem, obviously. If we were to use a plastic bottle, we'd use it once, and even if it's recycled, plastic never actually breaks down. it just breaks up into smaller and smaller pieces. If you spend a lot of time in the ocean, you'll start to see what are called nurdles, the tiniest little pieces of plastic, which are ingested by small fish, which are ingested by bigger fish. It goes way up the food chain.
You're going to end up eating this plastic, basically, is what you're telling me.
The toxins. Yeah, absolutely. So reusable water bottles are a wonderful example. These are some of our sticker campaigns. Plastic is the real killer. And then Apex Predator Non-Monster.
There you go, our buddies.
Yeah, I bring my own straw everywhere I go. I have a bamboo spork I bring, so forks, spoons, straws.
We'll have to talk after this, and you can tell me about some of the tips for traveling and the things that you bring.
We're actually creating a zero waste kit through One Ocean Conservation. It's one of my favorite projects right now. I'll hook you up.
Oh, where can we find out info about that?
OneOceanConservation.com. It'll be up presently on there, but it's in the final stages of
Great.
So exciting.
Well, Ashley, thanks again for joining me, and you guys, we will be right back. Thanks so much.